here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guest hosts or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Okay, hello world. Let me get this show going for the first time ever. Let's see. I've got some buttons to push and get some soundtracks down and turn sound down. All right. We're doing something uniquely different today, even though we got a late start. I apologize for that. I hope everybody is fine on the planet. We're going to introduce something we've had like ancient forever, ever, eternally, and appreciate you showing up. So we're going to do some talking with people about Wiccans, and it seems like I had plenty of sleep to do this show today and get this going as something new. We've been here 9 years on the airwaves, but this is the first time to do Wicca, also termed Pagan Witchcraft, which is a modern pagan religion. Now, scholars of religions categorize this as both a new religious movement, but I have the Ascension Age, and I do count that as a religious movement, but it's really more of philosophy. And it's both a new religious movement and part of the occultist stream of Western esotericism, a form of modern paganism, especially a tradition found in England in the mid-20th century,
yes,
and claiming its origin in pre-Christian religions. Who's this? Is this Melinda?
This is Melinda D'Amico. How are you?
Do you know anything? Hi. Let's introduce you. I don't know if you know anything. This came upon me to do this yesterday. So, folks, this overwhelming spirit came over me to present the truth, but I'm a charmed one.
Okay.
Apparently, Melinda is too, and Richard T. Knight is. Just so everybody knows, you're listening in on a private conversation on radio.
Yes.
This is Melinda T. D'Amico. And Melinda has not really been studying your ancestry, have you? But you've been helping people in the service to others as we do.
Yes, I've been providing services to people for a very long time, from home remedies to just giving a live reading, what comes up right in my heart, my gut about a person, and just telling the person right then and there, and, having the person explain what they feel and back and forth communication. So that's the way I've been providing services for a very long time, my whole life. I mean, it goes back to even, oh, my God, it's like when I started to understand and make sense that there is something special or there's something a little different, it started to, I get a little scared because I'd say to my mom, I tell you something and you know what's going to happen, right? And she goes, yeah, I know already. So, you don't have to tell me. And it just happens. Whatever I say, the word, if it's a letter is going to fall off the tree, it's going to fall off the tree, and that's it. End of the story, no wrong, no if questions. It just happened. And it's been like that, and it's gotten stronger. And I never second-guess myself, sometimes people think that, I don't lose it. It seems like it's something that it's a powerful thing that it's given to me. And so I appreciate it, and I try to keep touch with it in the best way that I can.
Well,
but
I know
as
there's a
far
lot
as
of
the
people.
pagan stuff, I've never known anything of that. I've read of stuff like that. But I've never practiced anything like that because I wouldn't know what to do because I'm not from that.
I've been in a couple of groups in my 40 or 50 years in this reality, but and I was never the leader of the group, but I've been a participant.
Okay.
And, we're like mostly women, mostly wise women. And we are a lot like the mountain women. When I lived 20 years in Kentucky is where the two solid pagan groups met. And one was mostly women, and we met every other, how you say this, at least usually based on the moon, waning and waning.
I understand. Okay, that kind of schedule. Gotcha. I got it.
And
okay.
We always practice Beltane, and there's a whole lot of education in this that I've written about for years online and put it out there, especially for Halloween. And we even started our Stargate to the Cosmos event wrapped around Beltane and Halloween. So, folks, it's not like you're out there drinking blood and killing babies. I think the world has gotten a completely wrong way of thinking of what people do, especially politically. And somehow now that we've gone through the universes and studied the planes and dimensions and realms, it's getting down to this planet being anything that can separate out of the old warmongers. So Richard T. Knight is one of my directors for my Ascension Cosmos Oracles, and I sort of sprung this on him, and it's raining here and there, and it's real hard for us when it's raining to do radio, these empathic sensitives, but we are going to create this show, and you guys may think we're total idiots for doing so, not knowing what we're doing, but we're just old souls and wise women that study research history, books, things that are written about this subject, and yet we don't have a practicing group, but I don't think they'll count that against us for our not-for-profit. Because this is going to be $5 per person to join, and we will grow it based on everyone's talents and skills and levels of qualifications for research and education and teaching, because we're all students and we're all teachers. Now, I've been paying for 9 years for this service to get out there. Now, we're going to do other topics, too. Some of you that don't want to do because you're scared or in fear of that which you don't understand or know. But we also practice occult, meaning unknown wisdom. But just let me get these dates out of the way. But Richard wanted to make sure that his family has been in this for thousands of years as a knight, K-N-I-G-H-T. He's also a practicing police, our security-minded, our investigative, he's one of our investigative reporters, but he's also writing a book with me for Encounters with Men in Black that we can get into as well. But there's various forms of divination, and let me read this for everybody. Now, Wicca and the law, I just want you to understand this is interesting. So I'll just read this for me and you to get this started, Melinda, okay? Real quick. Now, this source is called Modern Wicca, A History from Gerald Gardner to the Present by Michael Howard. Now, these are just quick. It says Wicca. Now, we can change the way we form Wicca in Ascension Age because the whole reality of alchemy is changed. The form of alchemy that we practice is for the positive and the good, recognizing we all have dark lighters as well as light lighters, or white lighters, light and dark, okay? And so we have light workers and truth seekers. But I don't have any dark lighters in our group because there's enough of that to go around all over the planet. It's not that we don't recognize them. We're not practicing with them. So here's the law that says what we can do, because with our company, now our company is American Communications Online, Broadcast Media News Publishing, and people can get us off the air anytime they want to on the dark side if we're doing light side work.
Right.
But this is to bring light to this Wicca and the law. So in 1986, Wicca was recognized as an official religion in the United States through the court case Dettmer versus Landon. Dettmer was the name of a person, Vlandon. In the case, incarcerated Wiccan, apparently this man claimed to be a bona fide Wiccan, Wiccan. I'm throwing that in as a side note. Let me read this, but try not to comment. In the case, incarcerated Wiccan Herbert Daniel Dettmer was refused ritual objects used for worship. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that Wicca was entitled to First Amendment protection like any other religion. In 1998, a Wiccan student in Texas enlisted the aid of the ACLU after the school board tried to prevent her from wearing Wiccan jewelry and black clothes. The board reversed its view. In 2004, the Indiana Civil Liberties Union fought to reverse a judge's decision that divorcing Wiccans were not allowed to teach their faith to their sons. In 2005, U.S. Army Sergeant Patrick D. Stewart became the first Wiccan serving in the U.S. military to die in combat. His family was refused a Wiccan pentacle on his gravestone. As a result of a court case initiated by the Americans United for the Separation of Church and State, Wiccan symbols are now accepted by the Veterans Administration.
Wow.
The number of practicing Wiccans in the United States has proven difficult to estimate, with sources reporting from 300,000 to 3 million practitioners. So there you go, folks. And this is the law written by the source, Modern Wicca, a history from Gerald Gardner to the present, Michael Howard. Now, this was presented on the History Channel, which many of you probably know through Prometheus Entertainment and other producers. And this is when they did the history of Wicca. So I see no reason, since it's been presented, that we shouldn't cover this. Now, I will help. There's some people. Now, one time when I tried to cover a gentleman to come on, and he was with Thomas Anthony Sinisi, and his name was Williams, if I remember his last name, but Tommy could remember. I thought I invited Tommy because Tommy is also former Wiccan Coven human form and had his people from the time he was a teenager. So we'll have Tommy come on another time as a Wicca guest as a historian. And so we have two bona fide educators that teach these things. And Melissa and I are more of your investigative reporters and researchers, and we don't have a coven, and we're on radio as journalists. She's with ACO Press Club, which is my company, Press Club, and I am with Society of Professional Journalists. Now, some people may think we're witches because we use a pen. We write and we research, and we like to know things. So we're educators, folks. So we're teachers. Melinda and Teresa are teachers and educators. So this day in history, what is Wicca? Now, there's various ways we can talk about this, but Wicca is a modern-day nature-based pagan religion through rituals and practices vary among who identify as Wiccans. So there's all types of Wiccans, like there's all types of Baptist or all Anabaptist or all types of different groups is Christians. I don't know if y'all know that, but there's all types of First Baptist, Second Baptist, Third Baptist churches. There's Methodists. They're still called Christians. Catholics call themselves Catholics, but they still relate in the Christian. And then there's usually Christian, Jews, and Muslims under the Abrahamic faith, meaning that they started with Abraham. Isn't that so? So this is how historically we start talking. Now, there was many world religions prior to the Catholicism, Jewish religion, Muslim religions, and pagan and Christian combined historically. So I've watched many shows on YouTube and the History Channel, and read Wikipedia, of course, and been with groups, and we have lots and lots of books. Now, I follow the traditions of publishers. I have Timely Manor Books, and my mother was a writer, and so I come from a long line of school teachers.
Oh, wow.
But they always had a celebration of mystic order of women in groups, and they come from different orders, and usually had something to do with women, goddesses, and moons, or the Eastern Star.
Oh, okay.
And you'll have to study that because I got to go as a child. Now, also in the Masons, my father dressed me up in my prettiest Sunday fluffy in the 50s and dressed me up and took me to Mason meetings for children, which sounds very spooky. Yeah, but when you
say that reminds me of the lodge.
Okay, there's plenty of lodges. Those are called groups or clubs or secret orders.
Kind of the same kind of understanding, though.
Yeah, exactly. They're groups trying to educate themselves with more power as a group. And this is the one thing I can see is they're called fellowship lodges. And in universities, they have fraternities for men and sororities for women. And they're all based on more than energy of people all doing the same thing, trying to educate themselves in camaraderie, having comrades and camaraderie, which I felt strange when my husband died as American veteran. He was a CIA spy. I can say that now that he's dead, for the CIA. But I learned a lot from him while I was married to him, Melinda. So there's a lot about you and me we don't know about each other.
Right.
So this is how people got to be in these groups and clubs and paid their membership dues.
Right, correct.
That's
out of lodges because I've heard about it. I know that people I used to hear back when I was a kid growing up, that if you are a person and you leave your family and you want to move somewhere, you would hook up with a lodge or some organization and they help you find a job and make that happen. And I know people to be very, very active and social with those organizations, and they've never been, looking for a job, always have,
So there's pros and cons. I can't think of any of the cons except if you have people. Oh my God! I guess Janet's going to come on. Hold on, and I'll put them on here. Okay, hold on. Just everybody stand by. Hold on.
Okay, standing by. That's a good topic. Something different. I'm on.
She called, but she didn't want to come on. She's like, no. I didn't even tell her what the subject was.
Oh, yeah.
People are protected because of their political status. She was very much political extremist on the left, as married to a Jew, Russian Jew doctor. But now her husband was the head director of our Ascension Ace Folk Life Center in Hawaii, and he and I knew each other for years, Melinda. And Janet, I've known Janet since 1993 when she came to my psychic group. I had a huge event at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, which was a very expensive venue for me. And my group, I told you, I've had groups, but I wasn't the head. So I was working at that time with a girl that had all the psychic readers down in Hawaii on Main Street, which was in Waikiki Village in Hilton, the Waikiki area, downtown Waikiki. And we had a lot of artists, including Red Skelton, Tony Curtis. But I was an artist, and I wasn't a druid or a witch. I was a psychic, and I still am, and I'm considered a empath, and I can foresee the future like Melinda can. So in today's world, in movies, they call us precogs. I don't know if you saw the Minority Report, but we would be the women under the water with the we don't need that kind of water, as far as I know, and they're not shooting fluids in our system, and we're not going to be controlled that way. But we, for whatever gifts, they called women that had these forethought gifts witches, but there's a whole story of men taking away our real estate in the past. So, ergo, in this reality, I don't own any real estate. Do you own any real estate, Melinda, they can take from you?
No.
Oh, good. All right. So this is not a fear, it's a knowing. And so when you have a knowing in this reality, you just don't keep making the same mistakes in your life as you come back to this planet, if you're coming back to this planet. Now, I chose to come back to this planet to do this type of work, but I didn't really know I was going to be brave enough to introduce ancient world religions. I didn't know I was going to do that. I didn't even know I was going to do this today. So I had to pay a bill to be on here to do this. I only had one last month. Now, this is a report or it is. It's an oral report on Wiccan Today. Now, I don't know why it wanted to be discovered today on radio as a up-and-coming movement, but it is, and we're going to celebrate that as wise women. With Melinda and Teresa, being that we're honoring everybody that do want to learn and educate and not be in fear of those with rituals and practices that have the time to go to these festive celebrations, solstices, and equinox celebrations. But in my reality, I've always known that they're part of me. Now, we have mainly, let me go back to this Wiccan topic. The honoring of a male god and a female goddess and the incorporation of herbalism and other natural objects into rituals is what is like ritual practices and are protected because they are part of our religion and our world thought. For Wiccans practice their religion according to an ethical code, and many believe in reincarnation, which I happen to. Now, growing up, it was against my religion, because I was a Latter-day Saint, a practicing Latter-day Saint, being that I was sealed in the temple with my husband and children, which is also a ritual. And you have to be very clean, not smoke, not drink. I never did anyway, so that was right up my alley. But for many of you that are listening, I was a member May 10th, or was it May 12th? I think it was May 12th, 1972. Now, they've since killed me, so I'm no longer a member of that church not by choice, and nor did they excommunicate me. I've not been excommunicated at all. As a matter of fact, I've talked to the local bishop and know his name here locally, and I've talked to the elders that came by. But they were lacking education, and they had the lack of knowledge of their own church. Now, these are just boys this is a ritual for the LDS Church to go out after they become a certain level, and they're given after high school, 18. They can choose between 18 and 21, I believe, to go on a mission, or you can probably go on a mission all your whole life if you have the means. But this is just say the church will honor and respect your wishes to go out on a mission and spread the religion as elder. Well, no, they're not even elders. Well, we call them elders. Maybe they are. It's a ritual in the church where they become elders, and they're given the title elder this, elder that. And they wear these usually black tags with their name, and they usually wear white shirts and black pants or dark pants and a belt. And it used to be they always wore suits when I was growing up. And they would visit people in twos. They're always go in two or more gather in his name, he is there also. I imagine it's part of their ritual. But since I wasn't an elder, I wasn't indoctrinated into their being an elder and going out. But now the women, I've met 2 women at Walmart that were elder missionaries, but I don't know what they're called. Sisters, which is not like an elder. The sisters
that's a different level, right?
Different ritual. Right.
Sister versus an elder is not the same, right?
It's not. It's not the same. The sisters, we call everybody a sister in that church.
Right.
And I was sister parish when I was in Alabama, but now in Texas I was sister parish, and I went to the Alvin ward. And when I was a police officer, I was a law enforcement. How can I say this? I was in law enforcement taking psychology at the Alvin Community College back in the day. Let's see.
Okay, how long ago was that?
I know. Were you even born yet? Let's see. I'm talking. You're probably. Are you a '60s child? I don't even know. You're very young.
No, I'm not a '60s child. No. No.
70s?
70s.
Were you born in the 70s?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. So, folks, this is very interesting for me to talk to a person that I've never met. And she and I met actually, she and I may have a past life like my other sister in our Ascension Church, Ohana, ordained director is Sister Gwen, this is Gwendolyn. Now, I talked to Gwendolyn yesterday. That's a beautiful Wiccan name, but she's an Isis creator goddess from past lives. She's a woman of color, very beautiful black woman, and very ancient. She's my elder. She's 76. And she and I haven't studied together, but she's in movies, and she's in the middle. She couldn't come on today because she's in the middle of a negotiation for a movie. But we have a lot of women of color in Atlanta that study what we study, all the world religions, and how they are putting them into movies and writing scripts. She's a script writer. And also, I wouldn't say Billy Carson. She knows of him, but I met Billy Carson, and he's not any of this, as far as I know, elder, sister, brother, Wiccan, warlock, because we don't use warlock anymore, which meant warmonger. The male domination is also called witches. Mm-hmm. But Wicca is considered, like I said, believing we're incarnation, but let me go on with this. What is Wicca? Now, this is just an interpretation in words, and we do study words in epistemology because everything is sound and vibration, energy, essence, and Wicca is considered a modern interpretation of the pre-Christian traditions. So I want to say that again. Wicca is considered a modern interpretation of pre-Christian traditions. And most Christians that will really go back and study the world religions and where true Christianity came from, although we're going to share this in an open light that's positive and good for all world religions and all that aren't world religions that are philosophies. Hold on. I just woke up today, which doesn't make sense since I went to bed early and then 1 a.m., but I must have watched several Charmed ones. on Netflix, but I didn't realize how much sleep I did not get. So though some involved claim a direct line to ancient practices, they may be practiced individuals or members of groups. Sometimes you may know them as covens, C-O-V-E-N-S, and this is something, we didn't care how many people were in our group. We went out on the beach, or we had goddess rituals, although we had a man come up and sneak our clothes. But we didn't go naked. We wore bathing suits like most people do. You wear bathing suits to go into the ocean, okay? But this was in Hawaii. But we did have a meal and a bonfire and talk story around a campfire, which is still in world today. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts do it. So there are many, many ancient rituals that people don't know, that even churches have getaways and summer camp for their children. And all these world religions have rituals. So, you shouldn't be pointing the finger at any one or any ritual until you know the ancient practice that it comes from and why you're doing it. The Wiccans have commonalities with Druidism. It's not really the same component, but we'll say that Druidism is an environmental component and is considered inspiration for the goddess movement and spirituality. So there, you'll find a lot of goddess movements, and I didn't know I was going to be chosen. I didn't even discuss Wicca or anything. So this is sort of a thought-provoking journey I'm on that is gift-giving and talents and skills in this cyberspace culture we're creating. And believe it or not, Melinda, on LinkedIn, a group of goddesses found me and asked me to come on and be with their woman. I guess she's the leader of their group in LinkedIn. Has any goddess group approached you yet on LinkedIn?
What's the name of them?
Well, I don't know. I could go look at my email. Is something goddess, G-O-D-D-E-S-S, is a goddess group movement and spirituality, and I guess they're doing videos, and I don't even know anything about them because they haven't. All they did is send me LinkedIn saying they'd like to interview me as a woman, business entrepreneur in the goddess movement. So they're taking it like. They found me on LinkedIn, which is business-like, which is owned by Microsoft. If everybody, everything's like I'm doing radio waves, everything goes back to a higher level of group. So
frequency.
Microsoft, yeah. Can you be talking to me on your phone and look on your computer?
Yeah, I could. Whatever you tell me something, I could Google it or whatever.
Well, just verify that LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. I don't want to misspeak on Wicca radio show about groups.
LinkedIn is an American business and employment-oriented online service that operates via websites and mobile apps. Launched on May 5th, 2003, the platform is mainly used for professional networking and allows job seekers to post their cover letters and employment history, et cetera, et cetera.
So that's LinkedIn. Now, in your Google search, we'll use Google because it's a common word. Google. You know how to Google. Google. Who owns Google? And I want you to, who owns LinkedIn?
Okay, who?
Because you Google LinkedIn, and I want you to Google LinkedIn.
LinkedIn first? Okay, LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn service.
My higher consciousness says Microsoft. I think I've done videos. Maybe I haven't yet. Maybe I'm getting that pretty clear.
It said founded by, but it doesn't say Microsoft.
Alphabet or Microsoft. It should say Microsoft is owned but doesn't bought LinkedIn or started LinkedIn.
Founded in.
Who owns? Does Microsoft own LinkedIn? maybe you have to ask Google correctly.
Okay, hold on a second.
Now, folks, this is us using tools on the planet, which is the way Wiccans do now. So don't think they're going to go out and perform magical golden trees or golden apples for you, please. So if you find someone that does, please refer them to me. I'd like to interview them on my radio and television.
Microsoft owns LinkedIn. It says it right here.
There you go.
In blue.
Okay.
Where it says related searches for Google, who owns LinkedIn, ? Then it returns to you. LinkedIn, who owns? Who owns LinkedIn now? Then Microsoft in bold, blue, owns LinkedIn.
There you go.
Plain and simple. Yep. You just have to look on the screen.
All right.
So now the next question is, who owns
Google? Come back. Should be Alphabet,
Google.
But let's see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who owns Google?
These are tools we use in all world faiths that are coming together as evangelists of cyberspace culture.
Okay.
Including,
so let's see here. Okay.
We will share the tools we use in Wicca now. LinkedIn, Google.
Right. Well, who owns the top alphabet people is the Google.
That's the name
is
of
the
it.
parent company of Google, the world's largest search engine. Parents are also involved in various businesses such as cloud computing, software and hardware, advertising services, mobile and desktop applications. All those things can be done with utilizing Google. So it's
Alphabet Inc.
Huh?
Does it say Alphabet Inc.? Alphabet. ALPHABET.
Alphabet Inc. Yes, that's what I said. May 30th, 2020 by Norige, whatever. Alphabet Inc. Google is the parent company of Google.
Okay, now what is your source? What are you citing to us on radio for all our listeners out there listening to Wicca on TJMRCT Radio on American Communications Online? Like our parent is American Communications Online. As of this month, I used my American Communications Online for my TJMRCT brand on Blog Talk Radio that is owned by Voxnest, that is owned, it was joined with Spreaker, Spreaker, which I was already a member of, which is joined by iHeart, which I was already a member of. So iHeart Radio goes all the way up to what we're speaking on now.
When I Googled who owns Google, it came up that Microsoft Bing did that, and then the whole thing with Alphabet Inc., Google is the parent company of Google and the world's largest search engine came up. So that's what I was using to explain and help us define who is responsible for Google.
So you use the Google browser, right? Because we just know to go onto the internet.
I asked the computer, who owns Google, and it's what came up.
Okay, so there you go, folks. Now you can do this yourself, and in today's practices, we use smartphones, and this is where the world is asking us to go globally. So this is not a trend. It's not going away. This is a way of ritual and life now. And people don't even act normal anymore because they're walking around looking down at these black boxes. So if you're my age, when I was 10 or 15 years ago in Kentucky, I would go to these groups. We had at the American Veteran, I'm American AMVET. I was an AMVET member and paid dues. Most of them are 30 to 60 a year, and I was able, as a volunteer for that AMVET, or be an officer, I worked for the man that ran the entire group for the disabled vets and the AMVET, and we had this building out by the county fair in Ohio County, and I also helped organize with an Air Force woman, Judy McIntyre. Anyway, I forget her name. Gosh, it's been a long time now, folks. That was 93. So what is this, 2003?
28 years ago.
Roughly, yeah. So
it's a good
we
time
started a huge festival, and the Ohio County Fair group, I remember a sheriff, he didn't like it so much. Because he is the one that helped book the Ohio County Fair. And so I learned a little about politics, and I started writing for the weekly newspaper there, 98 to 2003, till 2005. And I got to meet the governor of Kentucky and a lot of people, including from the movies, the reality show Survivor, there, because he came to speak and promote the Republican Party at the time here in Survivor. It wasn't the Naked Man. It wasn't the first Survivor. It was one of the others. But not that it matters now. But there's amazing groups. The point is, all of this is like Wicca ritual. They're observations that include festivals and celebrations, and various groups have those, and they'll even bring in food, carts, or have what I did with other people, invite vendors for businesses, entrepreneurs, and we would also have the fair, but we also had our own event called Bluegrass Events, and we had musicians come and play on the stage, and my husband ran the equipment. He was our sound man. He was a guitar player and very good. Thomas Ray Morris, who's also a well-known artist, the spy, CIA for our government, and he worked out of country during his time, 80 to 93, for President Reagan. And he and I went to on these rituals for the president at the time. It wouldn't matter because we had been in uniform, but we were hired as independent agent contractors for President Reagan in what's called hip pocket orders to find out about UFOs. So isn't that interesting that I'm bringing that up on the Wicca show? But it's an interpretation.
There's a lot of correlations throughout this whole nest of conversations when, for the cosmos, you open that box, so.
Open the cosmos, yes, Atlantis, cosmos, the oracles, and how all these groups work is better when you membership. When it's like me and Melinda doesn't have to pay anything to come on this show because she did her due diligence by being gifted and finding me and telling me that she had desires, wishes, and we have wants, needs, and desires, wishes, and she wanted to grow on her spiritual path. But she didn't say that, really. She was more interested in doing radio, and she was already doing some radio on LinkedIn. And she started inquiring me, but you didn't come on my show, on my psychic show. You were inquiring entrepreneurially or as a woman in business, doing business at home, right?
Yeah.
And we discussed
other different details and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, on the first show. So there is a show, if you want to know who Melinda is, where Melinda introduced herself, didn't you, Melinda? Did you have a copy of that show?
No, I don't have a copy of it. I know it, was it in May?
I think so. I think you got started, so this is June, July. So we have a show of Melinda's history. If you're interested, she's in New Jersey and going to start a group there and be our Eastern Region Seaboard for all of our nature-based, including Feng Shui, which I asked her to help us in our real estate and our architectural design. But she's not here where I'm at in Gulf Breeze. She's in New Jersey. But she can handle the Eastern Seaboard, and you can tell by her accent it's not from the South. Have you always lived in New Jersey?
No. I lived in New York my whole life. I'm a New Yorker, a native New Yorker.
But you don't really talk Boston, but you don't really talk real strong New Jersey. We have television shows with that accent, but yours is more New York. Then it has a.
I think it would be more New York. I mean, I lived in Brooklyn a good portion of my life, and lived in Long Island a good portion of my life, and come out this way now. So I think my voice is probably more like kind of have
Brooklyn,
like a New York-ish kind of spiel to it. I'm not sure how to say it, but. Huh?
Did you ever meet former President Trump, or did you meet?
Oh,
Rudy
no, I never
Giuliani?
met him. No, I never met him.
No, you weren't at that level. Okay. Now, folks, the reason I'm asking her that is to introduce levels, okay, because we have levels of practices and codes. We have ethical codes, but we also have groups that meet in different levels based on income and influence. And this is very, very powerful. It's not, and I've learned this from a lot of people, even at GoDaddy, some of their people I talk to. It's not always what you know, but who you know.
Who you know.
And some of the young people know this, whether they've gone to college and been in fraternities or sororities or groups. But if you watch the Charmed ones, the new one is the one I'm watching, because I watched 3 different versions of Charmed, and how I got into it was my logo that my daughter and I started. This is a very interesting Wicca type of energy, but it is what I call the Ascension Age, because I was met by extraterrestrials on the other side pre-reincarnation, and they are the elders of the light lighters, or light workers, we'll say. And before, a girlfriend of mine in our group, Carla McCarty, and she was pre-Christian, but she was pre-reincarnation like I. And Carla was a channel, and I was a channel. And she met this gentleman in Kentucky where I was living. But now Carla McCarty has started a whole new movement, although she's on the other side now. I still work with her as a medium. But she wrote a book as a channel. Well, she didn't really. Don Elkins and her husband, Jim McCarty. Now, Carla was, what was her name? Reichert? Carla? I forget her last name, but because she was Carla McCarty later in life, she married Jim. Now, I didn't meet Jim. He was always going to the store, running around doing things every time I talked to her on the phone. But I was supposed to go to their big event in Louisville and then Hawaii with Dr. Michael Sala. And I know I talked to Michael Sala when he was on my radio show, but he's doing his own. He's really gone straight UFO mostly, not so much Wicca or extraterrestrial or CIA or intelligence. I don't know what you'd call what he's doing. I think he calls it exopolitics. So I think he's really into the political side. But there's much diversity in various energy and environmental groups that are Wiccan that inspire the goddess movement and spirituality, which I more align with because of the women. Now, it's not really by choice. It's what you gravitate to. And because when you ask people of choice and free will, there's a diversity among individuals.
So they have you're saying that basically it's like an organization people form. I guess, I don't know how many women, a group of women, and they do certain activities and things together.
Yeah. Yeah,
and they meet constantly for whatever reasons to do whatever projects, events, et cetera,
Yeah, I don't know what that group wants me to do. They just want me to be in their group. So I guess that's a calling that they've chosen. So it was a young girl. There were younger girls. Now, remember, I'm 70. I'm Melinda's mentor. She said I could be. You're like my mother. You're like my mother and like my, mentor. I said like a mentor. She said, yeah, like a mentor. How are you talking? I'm trying to talk like you do.
Okay. You're trying to talk like I do.
Good, right?
I don't know if you can talk as fast as I do.
You do talk fast, but you slow down for me. I appreciate that. You and the Filipinos, I tell you, over in the Philippines, I talk to a lot of them. And I have to tell them, slow down, because we worked in setting up domains, websites, and communications, and MediaCom, and, AT&T, all over the world. They have what's called call centers, folks. I don't know if you're up on the way the world is, but many people, especially in their young 20s, have gone to call centers. So they sit and they work for big companies all over the world. We have 195 countries on this planet, okay? And I imagine if they have any groups at all, they are Wiccan bound because of history, with their archetypal symbols and their gods and goddesses and their supernatural being ways. But technology, they have evangelists, including, now look up the gentleman, I use Canva, and one of the gentlemen in Hawaii, he's an evangelist like I am for cyberspace culture, are building on the internet. We speak a different language that most people don't. Look up who owns Canva, CANVA.com.
Who
I know, but I want you to.
Owns.
Because I referred
Canva.
to be it.
Canva, right?
Canva.
CANVA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tommy and Melinda on my Canva team.
Toma Bravo?
No, who owns Canva? CANVA.com. CANVA.com.
The developer is web-based.
Oh, you can read
Toma Bravo?
For the record.
Did I say it right?
I didn't know who sold it. Oh, well, maybe I'm I'm behind Tom.
Toma Bravo.
He just contacted me.
It is the developer and the publisher of Canvas, a web-based
No, not
learning.
Canvas.
Huh?
CANVA. Did you put in
Canva.
CANVA?
Who owns Canva? And Toma Bravo came up. Founded 2008, headquarters Salt Lake City, Utah. Number of employees 1,291, revenue, etc.
Sue M. Carthy. Who's Bob?
The person's name is Toma Bravo. Huh?
Oh, there are people in our chat room. I don't know who they are. They're talking to each other. They're of the cat feline community, talking to each other. Okay, well, that's not who I'm thinking of. I was thinking of my friend from Hawaii, but oh my God, has he sold the company?
Canva is a graphic design platform used to create social media graphics, presentations, posters, documents, and other visual content. The app includes templates for users to use. The platform is free to use and offers paid subscriptions like Canva Pro and Canva for Enterprise for additional functionality. Users can also pay for physical products to be printed and shipped. And it says Canva was founded in Perth, Australia by Melanie Perkins, Cliff, and all these different people in 2012.
Really?
Yep. Launched in 2000. I mean, it each time you act, it's saying different things about the Canva.
Yeah, because that's not who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of another friend of mine. But Cliff Obrecht, Melanie Perkins, and Cameron Adams in, I guess, Australia, maybe? I don't know. It says $3.2 million.
Yes. Perth, Australia.
Perth?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what about in the United States? Let's see. Canva, this is interesting because there's a gentleman, and I don't want to call forth people's names that don't know that I'm doing it, but this is education, folks. This is an education radio station, and we also do readings, but we'll do readings for you on a different day. But I didn't know the chat. Apparently people can come on the chat room without me starting it. I had no clue. So, maybe it's people in Blog Talk Radio people. It says Fidello Bob and Sue and Carthy with a cat. But folks, I'm learning too. So you know, even though I've been here 9 years.
All right. So
it says
how much more time?
We've got 16 minutes left because we came on late. But
okay.
we've called forth several ideas for our show, but apparently people are helping us that I wasn't aware of. So we have a chat room, and I've had one for 9 years, but Tommy Hawksblood used to run the chat room for me, was very good at it. Tommy has since gone into his own YouTube in Hawaii, but he came back to run the chat room. He likes to interact on the chat room, but he doesn't like to have people on his television shows or on YouTube or on radio too much.
Oh, he has his own show as well?
Tuesday, yeah, I introduced him to Tina Bird, a friend of mine in the UK that was doing events with Gary Hazeltine. Gary was a law enforcement officer, and he does articles for my UFO secret space community online. And but Gary understands what I'm doing with, unions and understanding groups and people and why we're evoking groups, not necessarily wearing black, but black is, I'll just tell you what I know is a non-color in our reality in the Ascension Age. And so, folks, we have evoked the Ascension Age, but I've asked Melinda to evoke the membership, whether you're male or female, or you can have whatever pronoun, he, she, we, he, you, they, them, his, her, him, her, all those. And also welcoming the LGBTQ and other community, because we're growing and expanding, and we are open and welcoming to all groups, and regardless of your identifier in cyberspace, because it's all one big cyberspace culture. So I asked Melinda to help me in evoke radio, and I would pay the bill. Now, I am going to ask you folks, if you like what we're doing, tell me what show you want to support. If you want to support a Wicca show weekly or monthly, please send in your $5 dues, and it's going to go to paypal.me/TJ Morris, MORRIS, ET radio, or yes, and look that up. Melinda, because you're going to be my co-host for Wicca, or any other group we start in radio.
Okay, so what did you want me to look up now?
Look up PayPal and see who owns it, because I know our good friend Elon Musk in this world. PayPal. And then I've got PayPal. I've got 3. One for me personally, for me doing my readings, psychic readings. I've got one for paypal.me. I'm going to put in TJ Morris, ET Radio, which was a name brand that my Canadian publisher evoked. Yeah, it goes to ACO at TJ Morris ET Radio, Gulf Breeze, Florida.
PayPal's American.
Let me say yes, except cookies. It's got our ACO brand, which is our holding company in the international arena of cyberspace culture for all you law enforcement intelligence officers. And in the FBI, we fall under the paranormal desk for all of you intelligence officers that collect information on radio. But know that we aren't doing any of the rituals of anything strange, of devil worshiping or any of that weird crap, because I'm just going to call it what it is, crap. So now I've offended all those devil worshipers. Now, we don't consider Lucifer and Satan the devil. But on my Christian upbringing, we use the devil, like we have an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other as the light worker and the dark lighter. So we teach about white lighters and dark lighters, white and dark. And we don't like to separate it. So we, of the ascension, cosmos oracles are of reincarnative pleasure and pain, we understand, to learn senses and emotions of your nervous system in your meat suit is a simple layman way we talk about it. But I could get highly educated above my pay grade or my level of expertise in words that I can barely even say as neuroclassed level, and we will do neuroclass, and we will also do indigo class and ADHD. Now, we will be having a gentleman from Canada. I work a lot with Canadians and UK people in Britain. Don't ask me why. It's a Wicca thing. I don't know what you want to call it. A calling and election made sure in the Christian or Latter-day Saint faith. We're either all or nothing, aren't we? All is everything in the entity of the source. But when you go back, if you believe in reincarnation, we go back and start with our Ancestry.com. Look up who owns Ancestry.com, will you, my host? Ancestry.com, which is another part of our group.
Who posts?
It's who owns. We want to know who the original. Yeah, we want to know who owns our software. Ancestry.com, because we're discussing different branches of our
it's a large
software.
Okay, it says
yeah.
Privately held online, based in Utah.
Sounds like the
CEO is Deb Lou.
Ancestry.com.
And acquired by Premier Advisors LLP.
In Lehi, that's Lehi, Utah, the largest not-profit. But it's a for-profit. It's not a non-profit like we are for Ascension Cosmos
But it
Oracles.
says it's the largest commercial genealogy company in the world.
Wow.
There are very few people who haven't heard of it, which is true.
Okay, it's owned by
having
GIC,
started
which
small,
is
the company has grown exponentially since 1997 and became a publicly traded company in November 2009.
Wow.
As of October 2012, Ancestry.com was acquired by Premier Advisors LLP, a private equity group.
Wow. Well, what's the black stain? GIC, as of 2021, there's a 800-615-6560 number. Who is the Blackstone group? Will you look up who is Blackstone?
Who is Blackstone?
It's GIC. Yeah, who is the Blackstone group? Because that's who owns it now, Blackstone.
Blackstone?
Heading global investment business investing capital on behalf of pension funds.
Who is Blackstone?
But you tell me.
Who owns Blackstone or who is Blackstone?
Who owns Blackstone Group? It says...
who owns Blackstone Group? Okay, here we go.
Yeah. It's a global investment business.
Schwarzman?
I don't know. I hope it's the same one. Blackstone Group.
It's a Caucasian man. He have on a suit and a pink tie. Founded since 1985. And it says, Stafford Schwarzman became a billionaire by managing money for other people. Dissatisfied by the level of transparency offered by the stock market, Schwarzman co-founded the Blackstone Group, a private equity firm in the mid-1980s. Today, Blackstone is one of the largest alternative asset managers.
Now, they used a ritual called a cryptogram. Now, that's derived from the names of two founders, like Schwarzman and Peterson. Mm-hmm. So, Peter G. Peterson and Stephen A. Schwarzman, they started with $400,000 capital called seed capital. Now, do you have $400,000 you could put in, Melinda, for our company?
No.
Would you? You don't have that seed capital? I don't either.
No.
But wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, that would be lovely. That would be fabulous.
I'm sure you would give it to me for this radio show, right?
Oh, yes, I would, definitely. If I had it, I would just go right ahead here, TJ Morris. It's fine. No problem.
Well, we have, all right, well, you do that now. I want you to do that in the Wiccan way. So I want you to believe that you just gave me $400,000 seed capital, okay?
Okay.
Because money is just a value of energy, see? So you just started this company for our Wicca Day with 400,000 seed. It's in our mind's eye, the alchemy, and we'll exchange that. Now, these founders of Blackstone used a cryptogram. It's derived from the names of the two founders, Schwarzman and Peterson. Schwartz is, I worked for a multimillionaire named Schwartz. It's German for black. I worked for Newton Boris Schwartz in Houston for years and years. Now, Peter is the head of the church, Petros, or Petra. That's the masculine and feminine rendering of a word for Greek, meaning stock or rock. So the two founders worked at Lehman Brothers, Lehman, and served as the head mergers, global merger and acquisition businesses. The prominent investment banker, Roger C. Altman, another Lehman veteran, had a position of Lehman Brothers to join Peterson and Schwarzman on Blackstone, or at Blackstone, in 87, but left in 1992 to join Clinton administration as a deputy treasurer secretary. Clinton, that is as in William Clinton, Bill Clinton, the president of the United States. So we evoked Trump and Clinton. We might as well evoke Barack Obama because I like him. That was my mother's Democratic president. Bless her heart. She's on the other side helping us now. So we do have an other side, just like you've seen television shows with Van Prague. James Van Prague. Are you familiar with him?
The name's not James Van Prague.
What is it?
Wait, is that the name of the person you're asking me to look up now?
Well, he did medium work. Please look him up. James Van.
You have to give me the last name. I don't know how to spell that name. Hold on.
Okay, well, you know how to spell James and Van, but it has two A's.
James
it's really
Van Prague.
P-R-A-H. Yes, he's in our group here.
Hold on. James
Van.
V-A-N.
Yes, two words, space. A third word.
What's the third?
P-R-A-A-G-H. P-R-A-A-G-H. So we're going to evoke his name for him to help him. He's a very sweet soul that has helped us in television shows. James Van Prague. And,
he's an American author, producer, and television personality. He describes himself as a clairvoyant and spiritual medium. He has written numerous books, including New York Times bestseller, Talking to Heaven. Yeah, so he's a friend of ours here in Pensacola and in Gulf Breeze and Navarre, where I live in Gulf Breeze, folks, the Mecca capital of UFO Association here.
I didn't want that position, but I was evoked to come here based on my daughter's traveling to the other world, transforming, passing, because life and death is strictly a part of transformation of like-minded souls that come and go from this planet as spirits. And James came here to do our dinner in Pensacola meeting and a big salon meeting with another woman of color, beautiful, beautiful, talented lady, Marcia. You want to look her up before we go?
Okay, Marcia who now?
This is going to be a little hard. Marcia, oh gosh. Marcia, it's Erica. We call her Magic Marcia, but Erica. Erica.
What's the last name?
Haney. B-O-U. Her name is Erica, E-R-I-C-K-A. Space Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A. Booserhain. She married a man with French, I think it's French New Orleans. B-O-U-S-S-A-R-H-A-N-E. And she hired me in her bookstore to be a psychic.
I can't figure out how to spell it. You have to spell the last name. I got Marcia hyphen, and what's the last name? Because I really got to go.
B-O-U-S-S.
S-S.
Did you get S-S?
A-R. Two S's, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
A-R-H-A-N-E.
A-R-H-A-A-N-E?
No, just one A. Haney. H-A-N-E.
Okay.
And she is very much, has a lot of witchy type of domains. She is a formalized medium here with James Van Prague, but she does our area choice events for psychics.
Okay.
She's a gifted psychic medium.
Okay.
What can you find on her?
Okay, I have the whole page here. It's 7 o'clock. I have to go.
Okay, we'll go.
Her connection with, it says her name, book we're reading, International Celebrity Psychic Medium, Erica Marcia Boucharnay, I don't know how to say it, Boucharnay, has helped countless people with issues in relationships, career, family, health, finance, and more. She uses her mediumship, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairance agency, and to help others find closure and insight into their lives. As a psychic medium, she is able to connect with loved ones who crossed over to the other side. Erica's a generational psychic that uses no divination tool for her readings. She has been featured on TV and interviewed with national radio stations across the country. She hosts her own weekly popular radio show, Whispers from the Heart.
So she's one of our sisters, our healers, our diviners. So I want you to come up with a name of my friends in the psychic world for our group. Melinda, she's a Marcia, you're a Melinda, you're M's, as psychic mediums go. When you come up with an M number, Melinda and Marcia. So I work with these two ladies in the Van Prague psychic medium world. James Van Prague trains people. I train people. Marcia trains people. And Melinda's going to, because she's going to learn all the things I do, I hope, in mentoring in radio, television, readings, psychic work. And Melinda is now doing her own psychic work. And do you want to tell people how to get in contact with you in case they want a reading? Because you need to start.
I'm going to leave that out for now. The next segment will go in depth with everything. Because I have to leave. I have to go.
All right. Well, yeah, she does readings. Thank you so much for joining me today and starting our Wicca show. So
yes, I thank you very much for having me on, Teresa J. Morris. I really appreciate it. And the next segment, I'm looking forward to going in depth with what we really intentionally planned. Okay?
Okay. All right. Now, next Wednesday, we should have Sam Flanagan. Okay. ADHD on the Wicca show. But we're going to call it something, and maybe we'll make him on Thursday. But let's talk about that with him in Canada.
All right. So we'll talk tomorrow. Let's cut off.
Okay. Thank you. Blessings. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, folks. So that is Melinda T. D. Amico, D apostrophe A-M-I-C-O. Okay. Bye-bye, Melinda. And now she's off. Now, I would like to make sure you guys know that we will be here, and we are going to do our theme of our project as a not-for-profit is for memberships to help educate people and put them in their groups by their choice and work in teams, our groups, based on your state. In the United States, are your in the EU, we're going to work with them in Canada because I can only work right now because of I don't have much time left on the planet. So I'm really evoking myself into educational YouTubes. So please look up my Teresa J. Morris host. I have from the ancient years on the planet, various videos, my music, my story as the Atlantis Oracle. If you can find it, your higher guide will lead you to where you're supposed to be, and we will follow the television shows that are for us as Wicca-based people practicing in the United States of America with millions and akin to Druidism. And we will have Richard lead the Druidism. But on Sundays, we have strictly more Christian-based metaphysical of today called the Ascension Age, which is Ascension Center organization from Hawaii as Ascension-based Ohana gathering humans. And that was started with me as director. And then Dr. Alexander Sasha Lesson, PhD in anthropology for Ace Folklife under anthropology out of University of Kentucky. And we had also invoked by our reporters from Ohio County Times News Magazine, Sam, that is a teacher at the University of Kentucky. And he was teaching pop culture. But he worked as a child and knew me as an adult, doing weekly newspapers in Ohio County. We only had two, one in Beaver Dam, Kentucky, and one in Hartford, Kentucky. But we had meetings at Bowling Green and at the university and outside the university, two different groups. And one I went with men and women mixed, and one was women only at the place there. But in Bowling Green, they were very in fear of different groups. So I've had two groups shut down, friends there. And then the girl that was like a twin flame from Atlantis, her, I can't evoke her name because she's passed to the other side, but she had a store. And then Barry, I will evoke his name, Barry Gaunt, Barry Gaunt, Gaunt, because he is still working with me in radio. And he and I have said we'll come on each other's shows and promote each other because we promoted each other while he was with UFO. He still is Mutual UFO Network. He quit for a while because he was working over something I evoked to him about the paranormal and spiritual. There was a psychic horse that got in touch with me from ancient times during Civil War, because I lived back during that time from Kentucky to Virginia, and I fought for the Graycoats. We'll just leave it at that. But this is historical. It's part of who we are. We don't really want it to go away, but it seems to be in this time with the children on the planet, they feel like because of things that separate us by color, is racial and ethnic cleansing in words are in groups, or if you want to say history. But how will it pan out? I don't know. That's why those of us that study world religions, rituals, customs, and everything that is allowed by law, a table deal here is how it will all pan out in this century, because we live forever and ever as immortals, and that is our belief. And it's playing out with people in television, and they use a lot of the good practices of the world in the United States with source reporting. So source reporting, and you find the facts, you get the facts, and if there's a story brewing, we're going to teach you people as citizen journalists in our group, ACL Press Club, to go out and get the facts if you can in person. Boots on the ground is what we've called them for 9 years. And the ascension process is the great awakening of consciousness in the higher universal order of where many of us live on the other side, in other dimensions and other realms. And we practice knowing that reincarnation is a real thing when you understand spirit and soul. So we at the Ascension Center have educational books that we've written, and mine are on lulu.com, L-U-L-U, and that is a whole thing from the beginning of time, why they came up with the word L-U-L-U. And that's where after I was with iVerse and American News Publishing and American Publishing, and I had a magazine, American News magazine, but I had Americana, and I did music. And now I'm updating my preferences as a retired Broadcast Music Incorporated, BMI, another group out of Nashville, New York, and other cities. But we are Broadcast Music Incorporated. And I used to take the packets out for the woman that's father evoked and started the group BMI Inc. and Broadcast Music Incorporated, and she lived in Nashville. And I was just invoking BMI yesterday with a musician of 9 years, helping him because he didn't understand how much time he had. He had over 9 years, and he's only 27 because he started like when he was 18. So really 10 years in music. But I was helping him apply for a job at BMI. We need people at BMI, Broadcast Music Incorporated. So if you're interested or have roughly a 2-year or 5-year bachelor's, but if you'd like to join BMI, Broadcast Music Incorporated, please go to BMI Inc. and look for jobs, and you'll see the jobs that are available for you. So that's it for not Body Mass Index, Broadcast Music Incorporated. Somebody said body mass. Like, yeah, we do. We have several guides that we're evoking as magazines, and one is spiritualitywellness.com. If any of you Wiccans out there are psychics, are spiritualists, are light workers, or truth seekers, whatever group you relate to or identify with, Spirituality Wellness, WELLNESS.com. And yesterday I evoked spiritualwellness.com already had spiritualitywellness.com, and we're going to have to work on that together from this day forward with our Wicca Spiritual Wellness. And we have Spirituality Wellness magazine, which is me. I didn't know they put that on the map already, in Gulf Breeze. So we have Spirituality Wellness magazine, Gulf Breeze. It's got my number, 850-376-9100. So I will go pay that bill. Everything costs money, folks. And I have to pay American Communications Online for Broadcast Music Incorporated, broadcasting music, and we do media, news, publishing, and video production, website building, and we're doing our best to help people in the spirit of light. We have the Cosmic Spiritual Light Center in Sarasota, Florida, and Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light, non-denominational. And we have various groups and with Marcia, who leads our events, because she was the promoter and was here before I got here. So I only got here in 2016, and she, I don't know how she and I clicked with another lady that her husband worked. She was a highbrow, and she's gone back up with her husband that moved from here back up to New Jersey. So I'll have to get in touch with her on my phones. So please keep an open mind, and we have good intention to do good work as citizen reporters with your phones, your smartphones. And if you're an entrepreneur, especially a woman doing business, get in touch with us. And all you women that are doing home work, are doing guide work from your homes, a call center, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you. We help various associations, including ARE, and in Palm Beach counties, we have Astrology Awareness Center and Psychic in Palm Beach County, Florida, Boca Raton, Florida. And so any of you guys and girls that want to meet up, I would like you to be an official website, please. If you need one, please get in contact with me. There's located near the Bay Food Mart area in St. Petersburg, Florida, Pillar of Light. But I want to be able to see you on the Google map, and that's why we're working in cyberspace culture to build it. And I need to see you as a dot, because I live mostly off planet and spirit, way out in the universe. And we evoke spirit all the way down to the planet. And we're using technology so people in 3D can see. I've worked in 5D and 7D, but I'm a 7D evoked universal conscious soul working with those above. And our elders are still alive in spite of what they may kill them on shows, but you just have to have faith. So faith, hope, and charity, and the greatest is love and community. And so love and light, and we will return weekly, and we're going to build shows, and we will have our leaders and people that are the directors and the light workers and chairpersons of committees for events and website builders. But I need to see your entrepreneurial site as a little red dot on the Google map. So please do that, all my entrepreneurs. Woke will work, wise Wicca. So that is going to be our project, Woke will work, wise Wicca, in this year, 2021. So please be a part of our project. And we look forward to seeing you in your dream state, and come visit Lucid Dreamers. Don't know when we'll be back, but we will be. Love and light, please. See you next week at Dr.
Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want